Shalom. All praise to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of the nation of Israel, better known as the Great Millstone. Salutations and salute, greetings to the elect, to the 1/3 and the 144,000, and death to 2/3 and all the wicked. Salakia, this will be a little quick, but it will get to the point. This is Genesis chapter 49 and verse 1. It says, "And Jacob called unto his sons and said," gather yourselves together, that I may tell you which shall befall you in the last days. Gather yourselves together, and hear, ye sons of Jacob, and hearken unto Israel your father." So, with the year 2020 coming in, and a phrase being coined, the year of prophecy, this is relevant. Now, even within Genesis, there are prophecies that are, as we read, okay, there are prophecies that are meant for the last days. So one of the things that was said that Jacob said to his sons, it was prophetic, whether he knew it or understood it or not, was he told his sons to gather themselves together. Now, one can say, in one sense, being in the physical sense, he's on his deathbed, so to speak, and he's telling his sons to gather near because maybe he has a short voice. That's extrapolating. It doesn't specify that, but he's mentioned it in two different verses. He said it twice. Basically he said it twice in the same breath. Gather yourselves together. Okay? So this is spiritual because Israel would be scattered. The house of Israel, the house of Jacob, okay? The nation of Israel, the house of Jacob, is going to be become scattered. Okay, now we read about that in James. Okay, the book of James 1:1, he says, to the 12 tribes scattered abroad, greeting. Now that goes into Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, where it does mention that the tribes would be scattered for their disobedience. Okay? Now this is also a very good point to make and to observe, because if all the tribes were black or Negro people, they've been together for a long time. Okay? If all the 10 tribes, if they're not here in the northern hemisphere, if they're all just on the west coast of Africa, then how do you do this? The north, those so-called Negroes here in the western hemisphere, what, do you all go to Africa, or does Africa come to you? Do those people over there come to you, or do you go to them? That's very simple. But it's not talking about that. That doesn't show a dispersion throughout all nations. If it's Negro only, and then that's going only off the exterior look of people, and it's doing away with how within one generation you can wipe out a dark pigment from the father. Okay, so that's just silly what some guys are teaching, that the tribes are only Negro. And this is also showing that, look, the tribes would be scattered and have their own individual plights to go through. They would have to go through and be recognized individually. And so if you have a group of guys and you're saying, hey, look, you guys get together, come together, gather yourselves. You said it twice. He didn't just say it once. Okay, he said it twice. That's spiritual. So if we look at this word for gather, okay, It's the Hebrew H6908. All right, and here's the definition. It says to grasp, i.e., collect, assemble selves, gather or bring together, selves together up, heap, resort, surely take up. Okay, you see the usage, how it's used. Okay, and the lexicon. Okay, so this was something that Israel, uh, Jacob, had said, which was prophetic. Gather yourselves together, O nation not desired. The tribes have been scattered abroad throughout the four corners. That's why in Revelation it talks about, a mixed multitude, basically, out of every nation, kindred, and tongue, because they've been scattered. If it's Negro only, then that's too easy, and it doesn't show a big enough miracle. There's really no miracle there if it's just Negro only, and they all gotta look dark, dark as shadows. That makes no sense. But the Most High has sealed some people's minds and hearts to believe that. So anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up there. Like I said, this was gonna be a little quick, but plenty of prophecies are coming, and they're visible to those who see. Shalom.